Good morning. I'm Karen Gender. My pronouns are she and her, and along with longtime congregant Stephen Bain, welcome to Eliot Chapel. Joining us is Larry Mole this morning, I believe, there he is, right there, for Sunday pastoral care. So if something is weighing on your heart, visit with him. If you have young children staying with you in the service and they start getting restless, you are welcome to take them into Fellowship Hall where there is a live feed of the service and they can run around all they want. A special welcome to our guests. Thank you for coming. Our welcome person this morning is Yvonne Serbel and is here for anything you might need. If you are visiting today, thank you. There are guest forms at both entrances to the sanctuary and the QR code on the screen so that we can stay in touch. Please join us for coffee hour and take a blue cup so we'll be sure to welcome you. And if you are a member or friend, look for the blue cups and be sure to personally welcome our guests. Our online coffee hour this afternoon is at 1:30. And now, I invite you as you wish to join in our welcome today by responding, "You are welcome here" at the end of each statement. If you are Black, brown, white, indigenous, AAPI, whatever your origins, you are welcome here. If you are an immigrant, a refugee, a person without documentation, you are welcome here. If you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. If you have a disability, visible or invisible, or are neurodiverse, you are welcome here. If you've been here 100 times or just came today, you are welcome here. If you want for nothing or struggle each day to make it through, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love or what your gender identity, you are welcome here. For this is a community of diversity, of love, and of justice, and it is good to be together. Let us now enter into the spirit of worship. The flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, go ahead. I don't have it very long. flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. We light a chalice to signify that we are entering into sacred space. How rare it is, how lovely, this fellowship of those who meet together. We hallow this time by kindling the lamp of our heritage. Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 12, O Life That Maketh All Things New. And please remain standing for our congregational covenant. In Unitarian Universalism, covenants are the agreements we make for who we want to be as a people. Please join me in speaking our congregational covenant. As a free congregation, we promise to one another our mutual trust and support. To create a beloved community, we promise to be kinder to each other than we have time to be, to listen fully to each other with an open mind and heart, to speak responsibly and respectfully, and to find ways to improve our church for all members and friends. Please be seated. Each week, we share our offertory with a community organization that reflects our values and commitments to service. This month, we are sharing our plate with Forward Through Ferguson. Forward Through Ferguson works to ensure that regardless of what color a person's skin is or where people live, there is justice for all. There is the opportunity to live happily and safely, and that all children can have a good life. As we prepare to give, we welcome the presence of children in the sanctuary. Together, young and old, we practice generosity, knowing our gifts create ripples of love and care in our community. Let us give joyfully. You are welcome to donate through the plate or through the QR code on the screen and order of service, or text Eliot and shared plate, one word, plus the amount you wish to give to 73256. A link in the reply text will take you to our secure giving platform where you can complete your transaction. Let us be a generous people. to the work of the church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Stephen Bain. Today's wisdom story is called The Two Brothers. A long time ago, there were two brothers who had inherited a farm from their father. In the middle of the land was a hill. Each brother had built a house to live in and a barn in which to store wheat. The older brother was single and lived alone in a house on one side of the hill. The younger brother had a wife and children living with him in his house on the other side. The brothers loved each other dearly and did not want to divide the fields between them. So together they plowed and planted and harvested the same crop in the same fields. After they cut the wheat, they shared equally the crop they grew, and each stored his half in his own barn. One year at harvest time, the older brother found himself lying awake at night, thinking, "Here I am," the older brother thought to himself, "all alone with no wife and no children. I don't need to feed or clothe anyone but myself, but my brother has a family to raise. Is it right to share our harvest equally? After all, his family needs more than I do." So right at midnight, he got up and took a bundle of wheat from his barn and carried it over the hill to his brother's barn and left it there. Then he went home and went back to bed and slept peacefully. He did this every night during harvest time. The same night, the younger brother was also lying awake. He thought to himself, "Here I am. My wife looks after me, and when I grow old, my children will take care of me. But what will happen to my brother in his old age? Who will take care of him? He will need more money than I will. It isn't right to share the harvest equally." So shortly after midnight, he got up and took a bundle of wheat from his barn and carried it to his older brother's barn and left it there. Then he went back to bed and slept peacefully. He too did this night after night during harvest time. For years, every harvest time, each brother would think about the other's needs and would get up in the middle of every night to carry some wheat from his barn into his brother's barn. And for many years, neither one knew of his brother's generosity. One year, on a clear and starry night at harvest time, the two brothers saw each other at the top of the hill. Each one had a sheaf of wheat bundled in his arms to take to his brother's barn. Each one realized what his brother had been doing all these years. And they dropped their sheaves of wheat, held out their arms, and embraced. Long after the brothers were dead and gone, and the younger brother's children had sold the land, the story continued to be told about the two brothers, and the spot on the hill was remembered as the place where they met, where each brother discovered the gift of his brother's generous love for him. The story was told throughout the neighborhood and throughout the land, and many years later, that hill on the brothers' land was the place where King Solomon decided to build the temple, like a church. For it made sense that the people's most important, respected building should be in a place that had long been remembered for the extraordinary generosity and love between those brothers. Let us join in a spirit of prayer and meditation. As we have been taught, you may place your feet on the floor, close your eyes, and follow your breath. Let us remember every time we come to this place, this chapel that is singular in the life of each of us, this place that we make sacred every day with our love and our work. Let us remember that what we receive here is given to us by all the others who are here, and that they can only take from here what we give to them. Let us be lenient with each other, as a child is lenient with a parent who no longer knows what way the world is headed, nor feels its perennial youth. Lenient as a parent is lenient with a beloved, striving child. Let us promise to live intimately, in full knowledge that it is not always easy to live as brothers and sisters, in full knowledge that it is not always pleasant to be intimate. Let us practice our sisterhood and brotherhood. Let us say to each other, this is what I think, this is how I feel. May every time we break bread together be a ritual of our religion. May every time we look into each other's eyes bring a murmur of thanks. May every time we laugh together be a praise of all the universe. Amen. Please speak or think of the name of one in need of help, whom you can help. Please remain seated for our meditative hymn, number 95 in your hymnal. There is more love.
Let's first sing our children out. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. Hope. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. Peace. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. Joy. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Our reading today is a responsive reading, number 530 in the hymnal, 530. I'll speak the verses in Roman type, you speak the verses in italics. Out of the stars in their flight, out of the dust of eternity, here we have come. Starlight and sunlight, mingling through time and through space. Time out of time before time in the vastness of space. Earth spun to orbit the sun. Earth with the thunder of mountains newborn, the boiling of seas. Earth formed by sun, lit by sunlight. This is our home. Out of the stars have you come. Mystery hidden in mystery, back through all time. Mystery rising from rocks in the storm and the sea. Out of the stars, rising from rocks and sea, kindled by sunlight on earth, arose life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Ponder with awe. Out of the sea to the land, out of the shallows came ferns. Out of the sea to the land, up from darkness to light, rising to walk and to fly, out of the sea to tremble life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Life up from sea, eyes to behold, throats to sing, mates to love. Life from the sea, born by sun, washed by rain, life from within, giving birth, rose to love. This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of the stars swung the earth. Life upon earth rose to love. This is the marvel of life, rising to see and to know. Out of your heart, cry wonders, sing that we live. Thanks, that was beautiful. You guys just keep getting better and better. There was a peculiar ancient community who became known as the Desert Fathers. These were Christians, mostly men, who beginning in the 3rd century of the Common Era, believed they could perfect themselves and their faith by casting off the world and living as hermits, or in the first monastic communities, often in Egypt. They valued silence, quietude, rest, stillness, and they wrote sayings, nuggets of wisdom that were easy to remember. The reason I begin with an 1,800-year-old movement in the talk about the future of our religion is because they were talking about their own spiritual futures, their own spiritual progress, even then. The Desert Father Abba Anthony wrote this saying. I have modernized the translation. If you have a lump of iron, first you must decide what you're going to make with it. A sickle, a sword, an axe. Likewise, in religious life, we ought to decide what virtue we want to make in this lump of flesh, or we work at it in vain. I've often said, and I know many of you have, either to ourselves or out loud, that one reason I come to Eliot Chapel is to learn how to be a better person. But better how, exactly? But Anthony advises us to stake out for ourselves particular, specific improving virtues and forge the virtues we think are most important. In this free church, you could choose to forge whatever virtue or virtues you like. Here's just a very short list of virtues we could choose from. Physical strength and courage, political diligence, self-discipline, better attention to a parent, or better attention as a parent. The point is to pick something specific to work on. Once you've done that, you've narrowed the number of your possible futures, and it's easier to see the path to your goal, or dare I say, your destiny. In this congregation, in this building, and in the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations as well, we have many goals for ourselves and each other and for the wider world. But what ties them all together, the word we hear from this pulpit every week, what we are urged to make the center of our religion, is love. The virtue we are most often encouraged to cultivate is to become more loving. And being loving often earns us returns. Often we are loved in return. I'm not talking just about feelings, but all the ways we express love. Our service to others, our sacrifices, all forms of generosity. The reason we had the story of the two brothers today is because those two men expressed their love with absolutely no expectation of dividends. That's rare, even in families. It's pure, it's beautiful, it's worthy of building a temple, a monument to commemorate that kind of love. I'm putting it out there today that this is exactly the kind of love the world needs most, and what's more, that we Unitarian Universalists are uniquely positioned to provide it. And that means we are called to provide it. It is our duty to provide love without any expectation of anything in return. I've read a lot of science fiction in the last 60 years or so. Over the years, I've saved passages addressing religion from various books and how religion might be thought of in the far future. You don't find those passages often, but when you do, it's always liberal religion. I thought I might use some of those passages in this talk about the future, but when I looked through my little archive, I was disappointed. Mostly what I had collected was commentary by fictional aliens on Earth's present religions. My best hope for finding science fiction with a role for religion in the future was a book I hadn't read since I was 18, Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein, published in 1961. Who could read this book without remembering forever the church founded by the man from Mars, where when the offering was taken, you could either contribute or take as much from the plate as you needed? I read Stranger in a Strange Land again this year, and I was shocked that it is the most blatantly, stupidly sexist book I have ever read. I heartily recommend not reading it. But it does contain valuable religious ideas. The man from Mars, a human raised from babyhood to adulthood by Martians, can't let himself get away with just learning about Earth when he returns. He must grok. To grok something means understanding so thoroughly that you, quote, merge with it, blend with it, cherish it, lose your identity in it, unquote. He says that to grok something encompasses almost everything that Martians mean by religion, philosophy, and science. His newly founded church values and says God has planned for us happiness and ecstasy. This is sometimes experienced by the practice of free love, which means what you think it means, but only if, quote, the spirits blend as the flesh blends. The point is growing closer. Each member of the church strives to grok each other member. As they learn to cherish each other, they greet each other by saying, "Thou art God." This sounds something like the Unitarian Universalist value of seeing the inherent worth of every human. But our UU value is abstract, intellectual. In the church founded by the man from Mars, another person's worth must be felt, grokked, cherished. One of the church's preachers declares, God wants us to be happy, and he told us how. Love one another. In that church, they mean each one of them grokking, learning, each other one of them, one at a time. Love one another. This implies a mutual and more or less reciprocal love. But our story of the Farmer Brothers illustrates a different kind of love, a love that seeks nothing in return. Those men were not counting on or even seeking love in return. Their love was entirely selfless. In Stranger in a Strange Land, the characters were told, and by extension, we are told, to love one another. In the same year that book was published, 1961, Dr. Martin Luther King gave a sermon, also saying that happiness depends on us loving one another. But Dr. King's vision and his call to action were far broader than in Heinlein's science fiction. Not only did Dr. King call on us to love, and to love selflessly like the Farmer Brothers, but to love our enemies. He saw that as essential to his racial goals of ending segregation and ensuring equality of opportunity, as well as being essential to peace on earth and a global human harmony. There's nothing mutual about loving your enemies. You can't expect any immediate return there. But I propose that loving our enemies should be a big part of our religious future at Eliot Chapel. Like many Christian ministers, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. believed Christianity's purpose was to bring about, in accordance with the Lord's Prayer, the kingdom of God on earth. He called it beloved community. That's a phrase we hear a lot around here. We at Eliot Chapel seek in our world equal rights and opportunity and sustenance universally. Dr. King spoke of his people's great struggle and concluded that only love could win that struggle. I'd like to go into his sermon about loving one's enemies in some detail, because I can't imagine a better analysis than his, and because it might help us find a way to love our enemies and help bring about beloved community. Dr. King began by quoting Jesus from his Sermon on the Mount in the book of Matthew. And if you have never read the Sermon on the Mount, do. As an atheist, I tell you, it is so good. Ye have heard it said of old, that thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you. We'll come back to the praying part in a bit. For now, I quote Dr. King. These are great words, words lifted to cosmic proportions. And over the centuries, people have argued that the actual practice of this command just isn't possible. It was just additional proof that Jesus was an impractical idealist who never quite came down to earth, unquote. But Dr. King disagreed, saying that loving one's enemies, and he meant, of course, segregationists and other racists, and I am talking today also about bitter political adversaries, loving one's enemies was absolutely necessary to his people's fight and to save civilization. I quote again, love is the key to the solution of the problems of our world. Love even for enemies. In the 1961 sermon, he tells us why loving your enemies is important and necessary. First, meeting hate with hate, or even dislike with dislike, only increases the total amount of hate and unpleasantness in the world. Doubles it if you do the math. And that will lead to destruction. He says, it is the strong individual who stands up in the midst of hate and returns love. Second reason why to love one's enemies. Hate and judgment and disgust and dismissal of another injures the self. He saw grotesque twists in the personalities and an illness in the souls of white segregationists. And prejudice can cause many practical hurts and problems as well. I'm reminded of a young white man I represented in my legal practice. He was 20. He and a young black woman had together produced a little boy. The young man had come to the St. Louis area from deep in rural Missouri, and when he told his father about the baby, he was met with shaming, racist epithets, and demands that he abandon that child and its mother if he ever wanted fatherly help or affection again. How can you even calculate the damage there, even to the young man's cruel father? My client didn't know what to do. He was very scared. I told that young man, you no longer need your father. You are making it on your own. Barely, but you are. But I said, that baby boy needs you. It's your turn to supply big kinds of love. Not knowing his grandson will be your father's loss. I hope that young man listened. I wished I had been his father. Here's another example of how judgment and disgust and dismissal of the other injures the self. Another reason to love one's enemies. I know that many of us have been saddened by stories our friends tell of avoiding or dreading visits with their closest relatives because of political differences. We can lose those we love the most. A far less drastic but more common result of dread and stereotyping and avoidance is a lack of engagement with fellow citizens, fellow humans. How often has each one of us heard, I just don't get why people like Trump? But we don't often ask. And we get our backs up so fast we can't listen. I resolve to listen. And the way I will express love then is, I will strive to suppress my anger just for that moment. Dr. King gives one more reason why we should love our enemies. Quote, "We must love our enemies because love has within its very power transforming qualities. Hate serves to destroy. Love serves to build up. Hate seeks destructive ends. Love seeks constructive ends. Hate seeks to live in monologue. Love seeks to live in dialogue." Unquote. You may be able to say to yourself, honestly, I don't hate anybody. But judgment, disgust, disapproval, the assessment of another as deplorable, bitter distaste, fear, these are the kinds of hate we most often see in the world of 2025. And these kinds are just as hard to turn into love. Distaste, fear, disapproval. I don't have to look very hard before I can see these in myself. I've given Dr. King's reasons why loving one's enemies is important. Now I'll try to explain Dr. King's ideas on how we can do this, because it's not obvious to me. There's no switch I can flip. He says the first thing we must do is forgive whatever wrongs or hurt have been done to our group or to us individually as a group member. They must repent. We must forgive and forget, because we are trying to reestablish the relationship on a new footing. And we can't let our new relationship be defined by the hurts we are forgiving. Next, we have to realize that what we don't like in another person, the part that has allowed us to nullify our relationship, is not the whole of that person. Dr. King reminds us there is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us, and when we can find the good in another, we can come to love him or her. The fundamentalist Christian who opposes abortion rights but works hard in the local food bank. The MAGA dad who coaches his daughter and her friends in softball. If you didn't know their politics, you'd like and admire them. Dr. King lists one more how we can love the enemy or adversary or member of a hated group. Quote, "Seek at all times to win their friendship and understanding, rather than to defeat them or humiliate them. Somehow love makes it possible for you to place your vision and center your activity on the evil system and not the individual who may be caught up in that system." Unquote. Dr. King was speaking of segregation, of course, but an example from today might be a friendly neighborliness to the frail old guy up the street who flies a Trump flag, while continuing what Dr. King calls passionate and unrelenting work to defeat the goals of the Republican Party agenda. Dr. King is thinking about love as individuals talking with other individuals. He says the type of love he is talking about, and the kind Jesus meant, is, quote, understanding, redemptive, creative goodwill for all people, for each person. This will not come easily. We mustn't try it once and say we're no good at it. We have to practice, and we'll get better at it. We have to expect initial failures because we're just starting, and we're not good at it yet. I have not sought spiritual counseling here often, but I remember once I sought out a minister and said that a new member had joined the congregation. This person had wronged me in our previous acquaintance, and I found I could not forgive her. I wanted ideas on how to forgive her. The minister told me that I should practice. Go through the motions, think through the words, just try and try again. This worked. I found I was able to forgive. Internally, I never spoke to her about it, and I was able to start a new relationship as her church brother. I even got an apology. I think the members of Eliot Chapel are well positioned to learn a way to love our enemies. For one thing, we are a church and a denomination where love is at the center. Our minister has given us a daily prayer that says, "I will keep love at the center." Our kids are taught in religious education classes. We are the church of the open mind and of the loving heart. We can learn to love our enemies. This is for us to learn and do. We can remind ourselves to try standing in their shoes and try to understand why they hurt, why they lash out. And when this person is grokked and that person is grokked, we can be easy on them in our minds. We can be lenient. We don't need to try for conversions to our way of thinking. That kind of change always has to come from inside. But we can soften attitudes towards us and soften our own attitudes towards those who think differently from us. And during this time of national difficulty, practicing love might allow peace to emerge inside us. We don't have to love everyone at once, and in fact, that wouldn't get us anywhere. Dr. King says that love is to be spread one-on-one. And of course, it has to be in order for anyone to feel it. When I make an effort to communicate with others I wouldn't ordinarily communicate with, it doesn't have to be with a political opponent, it doesn't have to be about politics, but it might be. I should steel myself and practice what Dr. King called understanding creative goodwill, not allowing myself to take anger and resentment away from the situation. That would be allowing myself to become broken. I've thought of a way to incorporate loving one's enemies into our faith practice. 12-step programs say, if you have a resentment against someone, pray for them. When I, as an atheist, pray for someone, what I am doing is asking myself, in the context of my present and my future, what I can do for them. When we enter into prayer here or at home, we can center ourselves in love or with God or in whatever context accompanies us in deep thought and ask ourselves about this badly behaving other, which might be to say this family member I'm mad at or this politician acting unconstitutionally or cruelly. What can I do for you right now? What is the best way I can love you right now? Dr. King said, love is the answer. Love is the absolute power. And this gives us an assurance that we won't fail. We cannot fail, because this loving will be done without expectation of anything in return. Others may soften, we may gain peace, we may cause a transformation somewhere, but we won't want anything back. We won't be asking for anything back. And as each of us learns how to do this individually, we can do it endlessly. How can we fail when our only goal is to exercise our hearts? This love, this is our sack of grain. Each of us has some, enough to give away. Good grief, we can see that many people need some. There's no reason to hoard it. We can make this place and each of our hearts a place worthy of a temple. We can do the love, we can create the love. There will be more love right here. Let us enter into a spirit of prayer and meditation. Today, I remember and honor the love and the milk, the work and protection of those who came before me through eons, my ancestors and those from whom they learned and from whom I learned, and the work and wisdom of those I rely on today. I remember and honor the part of me that love flows from and that wants to be a help. and I remember and respect that part of me that holds desire and anger and selfishness. I remember and honor the hurts I have felt and that I feel. And I remember that I am traveling to my end, and that when I am gone, what I can give will be gone. This chance will be gone. Remembering all this, I think of someone I love and ask, how can I make your path easier this week? What can I do to love you better? Remembering all this, I think of one I do not love, and remember that there too is a heart that yearns. And I ask of all that is myself, how can I reach that heart this week? How can I reveal mine? What must I forgive? I will try to forgive it. I will try to live in new relationship there. If I fail, I will take necessary steps and try again. I will find more love, and I will share it. Amen. Please rise for our closing hymn, number 131 in your hymnal, Love Will Guide Us. Let's give this a little swing. Da-da, 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 da-da.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace inside us. Love beside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Let us extinguish our chalice and share our benediction. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We will keep a place for you wherever you may go. We'll sustain this home of faith and love and come to know in peace. Bring hope to hearts that yearn. We will keep a place for you till you return.
And now, may the Spirit of life hold you, may love bless you, and may joy find a place in your days. Go in peace.